The countdown is on, and early access for Remnant 2 is right around the corner on July 21st. Let's dive in and talk about what we know so far about the archetype system, then look forward to an in-depth starting class guide later this week. In Remnant 2, your starting class matters. They've totally revamped the class archetypes in the sequel, and in this video, I'm going to give you a full breakdown of the new system, including dual archetypes. This time around, your class archetype choice determines how you play the game, giving you cool skills and special perks unique to your archetype. Plus, each class earns XP and levels up on its own, unlocking even more awesome abilities along the way. There are currently 4 known starting class archetypes: Handler, Medic, Challenger, and Hunter, with Gunslinger being a starting archetype if you pre-order, and there will be more to discover in the procedurally generated world of Remnant 2. Each class gets 3 unique weapons, 3 skills to choose from, 5 passive perks, and 1 trait that levels up automatically with your class. And don't worry, you'll be able to switch between your found archetypes, respec traits, and equip new skills to experiment with different combinations as you progress through the campaign. So no big respec costs and barriers to entry to trying different builds as you complete challenges and find new gear. First, let's talk about the unique set of 5 perks that you unlock as you level up. These include a prime perk, damage perk, team, utility, and relic perk. So let's start with the prime perk, which is the core identity of your chosen archetype. It provides a special benefit that no other archetype or gear piece can provide. This perk is so crucial that it plays a significant role when you decide to add a second archetype to your character, but we'll get more into that later. An example of a prime perk is the Handler's Bonded perk, which allows their companion to revive them when they're downed. The Gunslinger, on the other hand, gets an instant reload and infinite reserve ammo for 15 seconds. If you want to learn more about all these classes, check out my ultimate starting class guide before Remnant 2 launches on July 21st for early access. Next up is the damage perk, and you guessed it, it's the perk that increases your damage. These perks also scale as you level up. The Challenger's damage perk is called Close Quarters, and it provides a 40% ranged and melee damage buff, and it also increases your crit chance to enemies within 7 meters. Even the Medic gets a damage buff, granting a 25% increase to all damage along with a 5% crit chance. As you level up, you will unlock these perks in this order. The third perk is the Team perk. It will affect you and your group whether you're playing co-op or not. For example, the Handler boosts team movement speed and the Medic increases relic potency and healing effectiveness. These perks will always affect you as well as your companions and your allies if you're in a group. Next is the utility perk. This one provides some quality of life to your class. For example, the Challenger class, this means less stamina cost and stamina regen delay. Last is the relic perk, which is a temporary effect that is active for a short period after using a relic. These effects can be very strong, but also limited by the number of dragon hearts you have available. For instance, when the Gunslinger uses a relic, it reloads his equipped firearm and increases range damage by 15%. We also know in Remnant 2 there are other relic behaviors besides set healing from dragon hearts. So there may be some interesting relic perk combinations, especially with the Medic, since that class can regen these relic charges. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful and you want to learn more about Remnant 2, including build crafting secrets and guides, consider subscribing to help me hit my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Remnant 2 is my most anticipated game of 2023, so you can be sure that I will be covering it here on the YouTube channel. Next, let's talk about traits. Your class archetype in Remnant 2 has a special trait that you can level up alongside your character level, and the best part is it's free. You don't need to set aside any trait points to put into this class trait. You gain the benefits of this trait as you level up your character. Once you reach level 10 with each archetype, you can then use this unique trait on other classes, but if you do, you'll need to put trait points into them, so it's only free on that particular archetype. Be careful though, because you only have a limited number of trait points to spend this time around, so you'll need to plan your choices wisely. This change in Remnant 2 is fantastic in my opinion because it encourages creating different builds and finding synergy between traits, skills, and items, making your character more powerful. One of the big changes from Remnant from the Ashes to Remnant 2 is that they decided to do away with all of the flat damage traits from Remnant from the Ashes, so things like melee damage, range damage, etc. And now in Remnant 2, these traits are more so about utility and helping you build out a specific build for that archetype. You also don't have to complete the campaign in order to respec them, so there's going to be a lot more flexibility with these traits. Next, let's talk about your actual cooldown skills. Each archetype has 3 of them that you unlock as you level up. They all operate on a cooldown as opposed to the weapon mod power buildup that we're used to from Remnant from the Ashes. We're still going to have those weapon mods, so don't worry about that, but we will also have these cooldown skills. And you can definitely argue that these skills are more powerful than weapon mods, at least some weapon mods. You can only slot 1 skill at a time, but you can freely switch between your unlocked skills when you're out of combat at no cost. You unlock these skills from leveling up your archetype. So your skill that you equip paired with 2 weapon mods from your firearms are going to let you tweak your build on the fly to fit the situation. So if you're going up against a boss, you can slot in a different skill than if you're just going through the main area of the dungeon and you need more ad clear. I remember doing this with weapon mods in the first Remnant when we fought a boss that my dog couldn't reach, or if I needed a heal for my team, and swapping things around to try to make it work and get through the challenge ahead of you. My class guide is going to go further into the exact skills for each archetype, so keep an eye out for that dropping this week. Believe it or not, you can also swap your archetype on the fly as well. However, you need to unlock them first, which means exploring the procedurally generated worlds of Remnant. I know I'll be looking in every nook and cranny as soon as the game launches on Friday for early access because I want my summoner class. I'm so excited to play Summoner. I know it's going to be so good in Remnant 2. And if you want to join me, you got to stop by my live stream over at twitch.tv/AbbyHour. Head on over there and drop a follow now so that you know when I'm live. Now that you know almost everything there is to know about class archetypes in Remnant 2, let's talk about dual archetypes. Yes, in Remnant 2, you can combine 2 archetypes together for one mega awesome super class. After you progress through the campaign enough, you're going to unlock this ability to equip a secondary archetype. They will bring all their perks, skills, and traits to the party as well, with the exception of the prime perk. Whichever archetype is in your first slot on the left there, their prime perk will be activated. So consider your starting archetype when the game launches. But like I said, you can also swap out your archetypes as long as you have the other ones unlocked. So it's super flexible, which I love. Again, keep an eye out for that class guide to decide which prime perk you like the best. Each combo of 2 archetypes will also have a unique name, like Loaded Mercenary here for the combo of Gunslinger and Challenger. And side note, I really hope these names are represented in the UI when you're playing co-op because it would be a great way to understand their playstyle, and it reminds me a lot of Borderlands 2 when you would get a special title depending on your class item. When combining archetypes, you'll have access to all 6 skills, but you can only equip 1 from each archetype. So this is something to keep in mind when planning out your build. I think the Medic and the Challenger will be a popular dual archetype picks due to their survivability skills. However, you could also combine the Gunslinger and the Hunter to maximize your damage output and perhaps go full glass cannon in a team. The class system in Remnant 2 will bring so much build crafting and replayability to the franchise, and I am so excited to get my hands on it. What class are you going to be starting when Remnant 2 launches on July 25th or a few days before that for early access? I'm leaning towards the Medic because I really want to experiment with relic recharge builds, but they all seem so amazing. It's really hard to choose. I also love Handler, but if you guys know me, I need that summons class. I need to find it. I plan to cover everything I can about this game. I'm going to be streaming it, making videos, all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you are as excited as I am, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.